Hello book lovers, my name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. For today's video, I would like to talk about the horror booktube tag. Hannah Tay is the original creator and I'll make sure to link her channel below. I generally start out my videos talking about what I am reading and what I am drinking. So today I am drinking what's left of a glass of ice water. I just filmed another video, so I've needed this. As for what I'm reading, I'm currently listening to the audiobook for The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo and reading the physical copy of The Silent Corner. I've been saying the wrong name for this book the entire time, I'm pretty sure. The Silent Corner by Dean Koontz. It's a good book so far. I'm over halfway through. I can't believe that I've been calling it The Front Door. What's wrong with me? But yeah, that one, it's good. It's just taking me a little longer to get through because it's a physical copy rather than an audiobook, and I don't have as much time to sit down and read a physical book. But now on to the actual horror book tag. Number 1, how and when did you get into horror? I cannot remember. I was extremely young. I remember always kind of liking really creepy things. Even Where the Wild Things Are, I found it really creepy at first, but that made me like it more. I would hide behind the couch sometimes and watch horror movies that I wasn't supposed to be watching when I was very little. Definitely shouldn't have been watching them, and now I have anxiety. So there's that. I really liked, Goosebump books and things like that. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, if you remember those books. Absolutely love those. Just lots and lots of creepy stuff at a really young age, and it really never stopped. Edgar Allan Poe was another one that I read really young, like probably too young, and I absolutely adored his stuff, and I still do today. Number 2 ties into number 1, I feel like. What is the first horror book that you read? Sorry, I had to pause because there was an obnoxiously loud truck going by. But yeah, as far as the first horror book I read, it depends on what you count. The first thing that people would actually count as a horror novel was probably Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Number 3, what horror goodness can we expect from your channel? I am not solely a horror channel, I just talk about it more during the fall. But I do read horror all year long. I like horror, mystery, fantasy, sci-fi. I'm a little all over the place, thrillers. Stuff that I don't really focus on is like contemporary romance, but I'll read that too sometimes, just cause. As far as content that I'll be making soon though, I would like to do a video that's detailing my favorite horror books of the year so far. A ranking of Stephen King books, which is extremely ambitious, I'll give you. I'd also like to do the Addams Family tag if I can. This year also, I would like to do another 24-hour Halloween marathon, but I really don't think that's gonna happen because I don't have my own place at the moment. I'm back at my parents' until we can get situated in another place. So yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Number 4, do you have any favorite themes or subgenres in horror? I know this is gonna sound weird, but cannibalism, for some reason, is a thing. Raising the Dead, stuff like that. I do love a good ghost, a good slasher. I also just really love queer horror. I know the bury your gays trope is a thing, but yeah, I love a good queer horror. Horror. Now I can't say the word. Number 5 is name an underrated horror novel or author. What if I just said Stephen King for this one? He's so underrated and underground. You guys probably haven't even heard of him. I guess my actual answer would be Chuck Tingle, and that's just because I think there needs to be more Chuck Tingle love in the world. He's just kind of delving into horror these days, and I think that he needs so much attention and support. I love his books. Number 6, name an overrated horror novel or author. Man, I'm going to say It by Stephen King. People who follow my channel know. They know, okay? I have such vitriol for that book. Literally stopped reading Stephen King at all for like 6 months afterwards, and I'm still just like a little bit angry at him because what the fuck, dude? It's not good. It has good bones. There's good stuff in it, but the book in itself is not good. Number 7, recommend 3 of your favorite horror novels. For one, I will say Pet Sematary by Stephen King. 2, probably Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. And 3, My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones, because I love Stephen Graham Jones. Number 8, recommend a book to someone who is new to the horror genre. Okay, look, you're probably not gonna like this, but I'm going to recommend that you start off where I did and, delve into scary stories to tell in the dark and Goosebumps and stuff like that. Start off small and work your way up. This is future me. I can't believe that I forgot to mention T. Kingfisher and Grady Hendrix. Who am I as a person? I love T. Kingfisher. She's like one of my favorite authors, and Grady Hendrix, not far behind. And yeah, they would be great probably for beginners, I think, but I also just kind of adore them. I think they're wonderful. Go check them out. Number 9, are there any book to film adaptations that you particularly loved or hated? This is gonna sound ridiculous, but I actually really love the adaptation of it to a film, like both versions. I love that. I absolutely love the films. I just can't stand the frickin' book. The most recent thing is probably the Fall of the House of Usher series. It's a love letter to Poe, and I adore it. It's the only Mike Flanagan series that I think I've watched like 3 different times, because I just want to see all the different references and see if I can catch anything new. Number 10, how do you discover new or new to you horror books? Goodreads, for one thing. I'll keep an eye on my favorite authors and see if they release anything new. I keep track of YouTubers like My Reading is Odd or Books and Lala. She usually has good recommendations. I check the horror section in libraries and used bookstores. Well, used bookstores, they sometimes have genres, sometimes they don't. But yeah, I just keep an eye out where I can. I technically follow some horror authors on Twitter and keep an eye out on there, but I'm not on Twitter as often as I should be. Bookstagram is a good place if you follow the horror tag, like the book horror tag. Sometimes something good will pop up on there. Number 11, what's the last horror book that you bought? Actually, it's probably been a while since I bought a horror book for me, because I check out a lot of stuff from the library. I listen to a lot of audiobooks and stuff like that. Probably My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones, but that's been a little bit, and that was technically an audiobook. As far as a physical copy though, if you count Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz, then that was it. That's a good place to start out for people who haven't read horror before, because it is, I would say it's horror, and it's like horror light. I would recommend that. Number 12, what horror is at the top of your wish list? Right now it's probably Out There Screaming. It is an anthology of short stories written by Black authors. All of it's horror. It was compiled by Jordan Peele. And yeah, it sounds like it's really good. It's only been getting good reviews from what I'm seeing. That's one that I would be particularly interested in getting my hands on. Now it says to tag people, like that's number 13, but I don't particularly feel like it because I don't have a lot of booktube friends anymore. They've kind of disappeared, and that's fair because my posting schedule is inconsistent and I keep disappearing from Twitter and stuff like that. Plus a lot of people have just left it. So yeah, do the tag if you want to. You can let me know if you did, and if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it way more than you know. If you want to like and share and subscribe and all that stuff, it would be great, but I'm not gonna sit here and try and pressure you into it because the most important thing for you to remember in this day and age is to love yourself. I can't stress how important it is that you remember to love yourself, okay? Okay.